1, 2. Are we ready? Good to go? Out here, no, out here we got nothing. Yeah. Okay, we're ready to start our show. We could have milking shorthorn spring calves, Guernsey spring calves into the ring, please.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be out here in a really nice spring calf to start our shorthorn class. A little short age, but I really love the correctness and straightness of lines on this heifer, her open rib structure, and her nice correct set feet and legs. A very nice deserving spring calf for a blue ribbon. Congratulations.
Good morning, everybody. To start our Guernsey show here today, we have a really fancy spring calf that's very deserving of that first place ribbon. A calf that can definitely withstand some more competition at higher levels. She tracks on a really sound set of feet and legs straight out of the gate. She's really fancy, super dairy, with a lot of depth and spring to her rib. Congratulations.
Results of our first two classes in our youth livestock show, or the youth dairy show. First, milking shorthorn spring heifer calf goes to entry 2418, Sage Grossnickel with SS Lucky Strike Cupid P. Winning Guernsey spring heifer calf is exhibited by Haley Jarvis, entry 110 with Walnut Ridge CT Bo P. We're now showing our Guernsey winter calves, milking shorthorn summer yearlings.
Only one shorthorn summer yearling out here, but very deserving of a blue ribbon. You get in front of her, you get behind her, you see the openness, the width, the strength that this animal exhibits. She's long-bodied, pretty hard over her top, and tracks out very nicely, deserving of a blue ribbon. Congratulations.
First place summer yearling in the milking shorthorn show is entry 2419, SS Penny's Pimp, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel.
two calves here in our Guernsey winter calf class. I started with this heifer here in first. She just out horses the heifer here in second. More spring, openness up through that front end and her rib structure. She's a little bit more style and fancy-ness out over the top line. She tracks on a straighter pair of feet and legs. If I was going to grant the second place heifer anything, I like that she has a little bit more strength up through that crop region and shows a little bit more capacity in through her front end. But congratulations.
Results of the winter heifer calf class in the Guernsey show. First goes to entry 111, Walnut Ridge Shack FA. I'm sure there's part of that name that got cut off, but I don't know what it is. Exhibited by Haley Jarvis. Second goes to entry 264, Novadale's LM Rainey, exhibited by Hannah Wilson. We're now showing spring yearling milking shorthorns, and our Guernsey fall heifer calves are coming into the ring.
Another very nice shorthorn heifer here in our spring yearling class. Perhaps not the tallest individual, but one that's super admirable for the way she tracks out on the move, her openness and width. When you get behind her, you see the width through her rump structure and her pins, and you get in front of her, see that strength and openness of the chest floor and between her front legs. A really nice spring yearling heifer, deserving of a blue ribbon. Congratulations.
First place spring yearling is exhibited by Sage Grossnickel, entry 2424 SS Comanche Chi-Chi.
One September calf here in our fall calf class for the Guernseys. A really powerful individual, has a lot of width through that chest floor, carries that openness and capacity back through her rib structure and down into her rump, and tracks on a sound set of feet and legs. Congratulations.
Lane Riggleman is exhibitor of the first place fall heifer calf in the Guernsey show, Walnut Bridge Cap Terrific. We're now showing Guernsey winter yearlings and shorthorn fall yearlings. We will then select our junior champion of the milking shorthorn show.
One fall yearling out here in our show, shorthorn show today. I really admire her dairyness throughout, her length and cleanliness in the head and neck, the cleanliness over her rib structure, and then she carries that refinement down through her feet and legs, over her rump structure. She is in heat today, but still tracks out nicely on the move, and I think very deserving of a blue ribbon. Congratulations.
One heifer in our winter yearling class for the Guernsey show, but a really powerful individual. That width starts in the front end and carries back through her rump structure. She has adequate depth, and she is a January heifer, so she's really well grown for being later in that class. Congratulations.
Winning fall yearling in our shorthorn show is entry number 4997, RJMAR Gianni Apricot, exhibited by Jessica Martin. First place winter yearling in the Guernsey show is entry 263, Novadale's Excalibur Raven, exhibited by Hannah Wilson. We will now select the junior champion of the shorthorn and the Guernsey shows. Ayrshire exhibitors, Brown Swiss exhibitors, bring your spring heifer calves to the ringside. Judging our shows today, we have Caitlin Gibble from Berks County here in the ring closest to the milking parlor. Caitlin is from Berks County, Pennsylvania, where she owns and operates Fantasyland Farms, LLC, along with her parents, her sister, and her husband. They raise Holsteins, Jerseys, and American Wagyus that they market to the public. She is employed as a territory manager with Pioneer in central Pennsylvania and western Maryland. Selecting junior champion in our Shorthorn show currently is Max Wolf. It was raised on REW Farms in Lebanon, Connecticut. Max has exhibited multiple junior All-Americans and All-American Holstein nominations. He currently resides in Baltimore County and works for Emerson as a territory manager and owns Wolf Auction Group. So would you please join in welcoming our two judges today, Caitlin Gibble and Max Wolf.
We've got our Shorthorns lined up here, head to tail, for junior champion. Not the largest Shorthorn show today, but some really nice quality. I'm going to go out and congratulate your junior champion, followed by your reserve junior champion, and then come back to the microphone for a few words. Our summer yearling and spring calves here for junior champion and reserve. A really nice pair for me that exemplify dairyness, straightness of lines. They track out very nicely on their setting feet and legs, taking nothing away from the other two heifers out here. Heifers I'd just like to see a little cleaner, a little nicer in the way they track out. But for me, it's a summer yearling. She just has a little more maturity over the spring calf. And I think this spring calf has a very bright future, too. She has a beautiful rib structure, long, clean dairy head and neck. A really nice pair for junior champion and reserve. Congratulations.
Junior champion of our Milking Shorthorn show is our first place summer yearling, SS Penny's Pimp, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel. Sage also exhibited our reserve junior champion, the winning spring calf, SS Lucky Strike Cupid P. Following the conclusion of this pictures, we will begin with our Ayrshire spring calves.
4 heifers out here in the center of the ring to showcase our Jersey heifer or Guernsey heifer show today. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself already. 4 really nice heifers that exemplify some different qualities throughout the breed. But for me today, there's 2 that really stick out in my mind. So I'll go out and congratulate them and then come back with just a few quick reasons. For me today, this winter calf puts it all together and then is closely followed by the spring calf. 2 individuals that I think can really stand some more competition at higher levels throughout the show circuit. This winter calf for me today puts together the combination of overall capacity, width, strength, and correctness, and is followed closely by this spring calf, a spring calf that I think has a really, really bright future. Just needs some more time to mass out and get some capacity on her like the winter calf does. But congratulations to all of our heifers here today.
Junior champion of our Guernsey Youth Show is entry 111, the first place winner calf, Walnut Ridge Shack Fawn, exhibited by Haley Jarvis. Reserve Junior Champion goes to entry 110, Walnut Ridge CT Bo Peep, exhibited by Haley Jarvis. Congratulations. We'll now be ready for our Brown Swiss Spring Heifer calves.
Check one.
Yes, sir.
Check.
A really nice class of spring calves to start out our Ayrshire show. For me, this first place calf is a pretty easy winner. She brings it all together. Straightness of lines, correct set of feet and legs, dairiness throughout. She just exemplifies it all. Taking nothing away from our second place heifer. who has the advantage in size and scale and capacity here today, at least in height. Maybe not quite the openness or rib of the first place heifer, but a really tall, long, full animal. And she uses that advantage in size and scale to place over our heifer here in third today, who tracks out on such a nice set of feet and legs. She also exemplifies dariness throughout. A really nice class of spring calves. Give them a round of applause.
We're now ready for Holstein spring heifer calves. We do not have a microphone working in the barns, so you're going to have to pass the word along to keep everything moving smoothly. Thank you.
Cindy informs me that she came up here and said that somebody told her it would be an hour before spring calves were in the ring, and I said, I don't know who told you that. Yeah. But what'd you say? Right. Yeah. Well, they're going to be
Three heifers here in our Brown Swiss Spring Calf class to start our Brown Swiss show for today. I started with this March 1st born heifer here in first. Just a really correct calf. She has a lot of refinement out over that top line. She's fancy out through a rump structure, level from hooks to pins, is curving through the thigh, and then carries that refinement down into a really flat leg bone. She has adequate depth and openness for being a March baby, and she uses her overall size to place over this April calf here in second. I really like this April calf. Just would like to see a little bit more size to her today to get over the first place heifer. Second over third, just that overall dairiness, refinement, strength up through that front end. She's much fuller through that crop region and is more sound through her shoulder, and carries that strength back out through a really sound set of feet and legs that she keeps underneath of her while she's on the move and standing here in line. Taking nothing away from this really big, capacious animal here in third, she just doesn't have the correctness for me today to place any higher. Congratulations.
Results of our Brown Swiss heifer class. First goes to entry 5042, Courtney Bell with Corlin Carter Starlight, ETV. Second to Colton Minnick with Mountain Shadow Bocephus. And third to entry 5279, Caitlin Bell with Corlin Carter Starbright, ETV. We're now ready for Jersey Spring Calves.
Four heifers to start our Jersey show here today. This pair of calves here in first and second, to me, just works their way to the top of the class quite handily. This first place heifer, she's super correct, straight out over that top line, level from hooks to pins, and tracks on a really sound set of feet and legs. She uses that rump structure to place over this calf here in second. I just prefer the way that rump slopes from hooks to pins and the way that thurl sits in there and how she stands while she's here in line. Second over third, as we move down the line, just that overall correctness, strength out over that top line and how she tracks on those hind legs. Third over fourth, just a little bit more of that continual correctness out over the top line, how she manages herself when she's on the move. But four really nice calves here in our spring calf class.
First place spring heifer calf in our Jersey show is entry 3867, Knobview Kid Rock Snowflake, exhibited by Carly Now. Second goes to Haley Jarvis with JX Walnut Ridge HG. Third to entry 537, Hammer Down Victorious Matilda, exhibited by Carly Stocks. And fourth is entry 550, Reichdale Victory Salute, exhibited by Lane Riggleman. We're now ready for Brown Swiss Winter Calves.
One brown Swiss winter calf, but a calf that I think can stand some more competition. She has a lot of power and openness that starts in her front end and carries that back through her rump structure. She's a really open and wide rib structure that carries a lot of sweep and spring and depth. She has a really strong rump structure she's very level from hooks to pins with a correct thorough placement, and she tracks on a sound set of feet and legs. First place winner calf in our youth show. The Brown Swiss show is entry number 5280, Corlin Rising Star, exhibited by Caitlin Bell. Jersey. What are we doing? We're doing Brown Swiss winter calves, or fall calves? Swiss fall calves. Swiss fall calves. Brown Swiss fall calves.
so many cows. Are they finished the other side? I don't think so, but okay, you wanna, I can give you mine if you got wide.
Jersey foal calves to ringside, please.
Just a pair of brown Swiss in our fall calf class, but I think two heifers that really do make a pair. They're very similar in their kind and make, but I started with this heifer here in first. I just prefer the way she blends and comes together here through her front end and carries that smoothness of parts back through the rump structure. That tail head sits just a touch nicer down in those pins, and I prefer the way she walks around the ring here today. Taking nothing away from this fancy dairy large calf here in second, I just prefer that blending of parts just a little bit better here today. Congratulations.
Our winning brown Swiss fall heifer calf is entry number 486, Fiddler Genetics Rastastella, exhibited by Torrance Bassler. Second place goes to Fiddler Genetics Thun Shimmer, exhibited by James Bassler. We're now ready for Jersey fall heifer calves.
4 calves here in our Jersey fall calf class. This heifer that works her way to the top of the class, I think she does it quite handily. Just more heifer overall, more capacity, more spring, more overall bloom to that rib structure, more depth of body, swoop to that rib. She's really straight out over that top line and level from hooks to pins and tracks on a really sound set of legs. She uses her overall correctness of parts out over that top line, being stronger in the loin to place over this calf here in second. I really like this calf here in second. She just tends to roach just a little bit more than I'd like to see here today. Second over third, just that overall capacity to the rib structure, that how she tracks on those feet when you're standing behind her. Third over fourth uses her overall femininity and angularity out over that top line and throughout her head and neck to place over this heifer here in fourth. Congratulations.
Results of the fall heifer calf class in our Jersey Youth Show. First is entry 3868, Now View Colton Socks, exhibited by Carly Now. Second goes to 3693, T-Fall Steeler Cayenne, exhibited by Emma Utterback. Third is entry 2301, Emerald City Maggie, exhibited by Kelsey Blank. And fourth goes to 977, Not My Chance, Tequila Ray Lynn, exhibited by Wyatt Wyrie. So from the top of the class, Kelsey Blank is third, Carly Now with Not View Colton Socks is first, Emma Utterback is second, and Wyatt Reinrich is fourth. We're now ready for Brown Swiss fall or summer yearlings. I'm sorry, Brown Swiss summer yearlings.
Two heifers in our Brown Swiss Summer Yearling class. This heifer that starts the class does it for me quite handily. Just a very super correct heifer. She has a lot of width and capacity through that front end. Carries that back through her rump structure where her tail head sits really neatly between those pins. She's really straight out over that top line, has a lot of spring and capacity to that rib structure and tracks on a really sound set of feet and legs. She uses her overall capacity and correctness to place over this heifer here in second. A well-grown heifer, but doesn't have the overall fanciness and dairiness and correctness to place any higher in this class here today. Congratulations.
First summer yearling in our Brown Swiss show goes to entry 5281, Corlin Famous Potomac, exhibited by Caitlin Bell. Second goes to 487, Fiddler Genetics Dynamite, exhibited by Torrance Bassett. Please bring your Jersey summer yearlings to the ring.
Changing gears a little bit through our Holstein spring calves. a very deep class and a very high quality class, especially here at the top. It's a close placing in the top 3 for me, but it's this heifer in first that exhibits dairiness, femininity, straightness, aligned style, and she's super, super clean in those rear legs when you get behind her. She tracks out so smoothly on those feet and legs, and she's just such a pretty heifer, in my opinion, to look at from the second she walked in till the end. Taking nothing away from this red heifer. She also strikes you as soon as she walks into the ring. Not quite the dairiness and femininity, cleanliness in those rear legs as the first place heifer. I do give her the advantage, that depth and openness that drop to her rib. She uses that advantage to place over the tall, long, balanced white heifer coming out here in third. The heifer in third over fourth, it's the way she tracks out. It's her style, dairiness, femininity, sharpness over her withers especially. The heifer in fifth here, I really admire her for a dairy frame. I would like to see her straighten out her legs just a little bit, but a very stylish, sharp black heifer coming out here in fifth, and a really good, deep class of spring calves to start off the Holstein show. Well deserved by all exhibitors. Give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to Carly Now, entry number 3876, Knobview Talon Chloe, the winning spring calf at our Holstein show. Second goes to 4668 Savagely Sunray Red, exhibited by Andy Welsh. And at the top of page 2, third place goes to 4671 Savagely Shake Burgundy, exhibited by Kendall Welsh. We'll give you complete placings in just 1 second. We're now ready for Ayrshire winter calves.
3 heifers here in our summer yearling class for the Jersey show. This heifer here in first place, I think, takes it quite easily here today. Just an overall powerful individual. She's really capacious and open and has a lot of spring through that rib structure and carries that spring and depth and through spring and openness into that depth of that rib. She was also very straight out over that top line, level from hooks to pins, and tracks on a really sound set of feet and legs. She uses that whole package to place over this calf here in second. This calf here in second is another really fancy, stylish heifer. She just doesn't quite have as much of her to place over this heifer here in first. Second over third, just the overall depth, openness, size, scale, and the way she tracks on those feet and legs to place this class. Congratulations.
First place summer yearling in our Jersey show goes to entry 3934, T-Fall Kid Rock Kina, exhibited by Lila Utterback. Second goes to entry 4184, T-Fall Steeler Lucky, exhibited by Noah Utterback. And third to entry 2302, Woodland Creek Susie Q, exhibited by Kelsey Blank. Now ready for spring yearlings.
Good winter calves here in our Ayrshire show. A pretty hands-down winner for me. She comes in and she strikes you with her straightness, the lines, her. She's tall, she's long from nose to tail. She tracks out cleanly on those feet and legs, taking nothing away from the second place heifer, a heifer who exhibits a lot of strength and openness of rib. Just not the height and length and cleanliness as our first place heifer here today. Congratulations.
First place winter calf in our Ayrshire show goes to entry 2062 Sherlyn Reagan Danny, exhibited by Justin DeWeese. Second to entry 975 Not By Chance Alaska Roxy, exhibited by Wyatt Weinrich. Now we'll give you complete results of our Holstein Spring Heifer Calf class for those of you marking your books. Starting on the first page of your programs, entry 4697 Shay Sensula is 9th. 2900, Liliana Crum is 14th. 1410, Zach Durr is 7th. 1544, Ella Phil is 15th. 2754, Rachel Frank is 5th. 4504, Carson Greenwood is 8th. 4473, Landon Greenwood is 11th. 2918, Eli Moser is 4th. 2921, Ella Moser is 10th. 3876, Knob View Talon Chloe, exhibited by Carly Now, is first. 1553, exhibited by Easton Savage, is sixth. 3996, exhibited by Atlee Schaefer, is 12th. 4678, exhibited by Aubrey Schaefer, is 13th. 4668, Savage Lee Sunray Red, exhibited by Andy Welch, is second. And on the next page, entry 4671, Savage Lee Shake Burgundy, exhibited by Kendall Welsh, is third. Results of the Ayrshire Winter Heifer Calf class. I think I already gave you that one. Justin DeWeese is first, Wyatt Weinrich is second.
We're here in our spring yearling heifer class for the Brown Swiss show. Starting the class off with this super well-grown April yearling, a heifer that's really strong out over that top line, has a lot of capacity through that front end and carries that back through her rump structure and has a really nice slope to that rear from hooks to pins. She also tracks on a really sound set of feet and legs, and it is her size and legs that places her over this heifer here in second. A really fancy heifer, just doesn't have quite the size to get over this heifer here in first. Second over third, just that overall correctness, strength up through that front end, and overall capacity through her rib structure. Taking nothing away from this really well-grown heifer here in third, just needs a little bit more style and fancy to get a little higher here today.
Results of the spring yearling class in the Brown Swiss show. First goes to entry 2059, Just So C Vanilla, exhibited by Justin DeWeese. Second is 4995, RJMAR Dairy King Sue, exhibited by Jessica Martin. And third, entry 497, Long Shot Whiskey Mint Julep, exhibited by James Basman. Now showing spring yearlings in our Jersey show.
One, two, three. Test 1, 2, 3. Dairy Barnes, can you hear me? Dairy Barnes, can you hear me? One, two, three. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4 in the barn. No batteries.
Two heifers here in our Jersey Spring Yearling class. This heifer here in first wins it quite handily for me today. Just ultra super fancy, ultra dairy, super angular out over that top line. A lot of spring and openness to that super capacious rib structure. And it's really straight out over that top line, level from hooks to pins, and tracks on a sound set of feet and legs. She uses her overall dairiness, angularity, and dairy strength to place over this calf here in second. This calf here in second is a well-grown calf. Just doesn't quite have that style to place any higher here today.
Spring yearling Jersey show results. First is entry 3870 Knobview Kid Rock Summer, exhibited by Carly Now. Second is 2061 Sandhaven Kid Rock Atlanta, exhibited by Justin Louise. Please bring your winter yearling jerseys. Brown Swiss. Winter yearling Brown Swiss.
A really awesome red winter heifer class, calf to kick off our class here today. A heifer that walks into the ring and you kind of go, wow, she's so stylish through the head and neck. She's sharp over her withers. She's got that deep open rib structure, that wide rump structure. When you get behind her, she tracks out on a really clean feminine set of feet and legs. The second place heifer here following up, another sharp, stylish heifer, just not the size, just not the openness, or doesn't track out quite as cleanly on her feet and legs today, taking nothing away from the heifer following out in third here. A heifer that I think is really good and correct. Just needs to lose a little bit of weight, and that's where the advantage goes to the heifer here in fourth today. A heifer that's not the biggest in the class, but I really like her shortness and angularity, her cleanliness of bone, and she uses that advantage to take over the heifer in fifth. Fifth, sixth, and seventh nice heifers, just not the cleanliness in feet and legs or style throughout. The mirror to higher placing. Congratulations.
Winning winter calf at our Holstein show. First is after 13107 Savage Lee WEED Buzz, exhibited by Andy Welsh. Second goes to 535 Locust Air Jagger Magnolia, exhibited by Carly Stocks. Third goes to entry number 1130 Venture and Luck Escape Petunia, exhibited by Camden Grossnickel. Ayrshire Fall Calves should be in the ring. Ayrshire Fall Calves will be our next class.
Two here in our brown Swiss winter yearling class. Two individuals that I think you could see it either way here today. They're a very tight placing for me, but this is how I chose to stick with for today, just how I see it. This heifer coming out here in first, I just prefer the way she's more level from that hook to pin. Her tail head sits just a touch neater in through that pin bone, and I do prefer how she tracks around the ring here today. Has a little bit more width up through that front end. She uses that to place over this calf here in second, a super well-grown, fancy, angular yearling. But I don't prefer how she tracks around the ring here just today, and I'd like to change her rump structure just a smidge to place her over the heifer here in first. Congratulations.
Results of Brown Swiss winter yearling class. First goes to 3865 Culp Jen Chisel Daisy, exhibited by Carly Now. Second is entry 3864 Windmill Spalding Homily 2, also exhibited by Carly Now. No winter yearling jerseys, so we will show fall yearling Swiss as our next class.
Brown Swiss Fall yearlings here to round out our Brown Swiss heifer show. For me today, this heifer here in first takes the class quite handily. She just has a more overall size, power. She's more level from hooks to pins. I prefer the way she tracks around the ring today, keeping those legs square underneath of her. She also has a more overall capacity and width for the front end to place over this heifer here in second. Congratulations.
Results of the Fall Yearling Swiss class. First goes to entry 5282, Corlin Mighty Star, exhibited by Caitlin Bell. Second to 5148, RJMAR Wisdom Kitty Marie, exhibited by Ryan Martin.
Good morning. Welcome again to the Rabbit and Poultry Barn, and we welcome you all to our 2022 Rabbit Youth Show. We are so excited to have you here, exhibitors, and we can't wait to see you all the rabbits you bring to the table. We are so glad to have so many friends in the barn and family and support for these kids who've worked so hard on these projects all year round. So we thank you for coming out to support them. We have our Arbor Sanction judge here with us this morning, Miss Nikki Borg. So please give us a round of applause. We had some amazing sponsors support our project and our kids and our barn this year. So I want to recognize those sponsors. First, of course, we have Miss Nancy Carlisle and Southern States who supports us. We have Farmers Cooperative, along with Homegrown Deframes, Churchill Auto Care, Carbine Outlets, and the Karis Realty Group. So all these companies and businesses supported these kids in helping make a great experience. So thank you all. As you can see, the show order is posted here. And for those of you who were here last year, you remember how we did like a dual judging table. We're going to start with breeding. We're going to always start with our senior bucks, then go to senior doe, and then junior buck and junior doe. We are going to direct you when to bring your rabbits up and when to be on deck. As the judge is judging one class on this side, we're going to have the next class loaded and ready. This is not to rush, it's just to keep the flow, have everyone have time to come up and be ready to show their rabbits. So, of course, if you have any questions, I forgot to introduce us. I'm Tatiana Burrier, and this is Julie McGuffin, and we're your rabbit superintendents. And again, we're so excited you all are here. We hope you have a wonderful morning, and thank you. And showmanship is happening during the show. So what we're going to do is we're doing showmanship outside, where we would go for the shed. I thought we needed it out there. But we are trying to find a perfect location for it. So I think the final destination for showmanship will be out that back door. There's a little sign that says Rabbit Showmanship. Exhibitors, for showmanship, you do not have to have an order. You look when your rabbit is being shown, you figure out what's a good time for you to go out, and then our wonderful friends from Howard County Hair Raisers 4-H Club, they are our writers, and they are our showmanship judges. Let's give them a round of applause as well from Hair Raisers. Thank you, Ms. Wilson and friends. Howard County is a wonderful Frederick County supporter. So that they will be out there, and whenever you're ready, they'll direct you, and anyone who wants to try showmanship who did not sign up is more than welcome to try showmanship today. Don't worry about that. So without further ado, we're going to get our show started. We hope you have a wonderful experience and enjoy the morning. Thank you so much. So first up, we're going to have our senior our bucks on this left side here, and senior does on the right.
Just so you know, the camera's right there. If you ever want to
had its debut yesterday. Oh, nice. Congratulations. ready to place yeah. And the other ones too, because they only have one each, so. Yes, I did see that. Okay.
All right, so we're going to be placing our black Dutch senior bucks right now. And this guy's going to be fourth. He's actually a very nice rabbit. However, at an ARVA show, he has what we would call a freckle in his whisker bed, which would normally be a disqualification. So he's just going to be fourth today, but he's very nicely typed. He has a very nice length to his body, very nice width into his shoulder midsection, good depth over that hip. He's a short, compact rabbit. It's good representation for a Dutch. He has a good placement to his saddle, transitions really well into his undercut. He does have good roundness into his cheeks. They're nice and even, very nice length and evenness to his stops. It's just that little freckle that he has in his whisker bed there. And he's a little open and unfinished in his coat, which is pretty typical in the summer months.
Can you please tell me your tag before you do all that? Because I missed all of those comments.
His ear tag is DT.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, number 3 is going to be it looks like maybe a 3.8 HD.
I have a 30 HD.
Okay. Yep, he just had a fold in his ear when they tattooed him. All right, this guy's just a little bit longer in body type. He's longer through that shoulder and into his midsection. He also lacks a little bit of width through that midsection. He does have good depth of body, just lacks the width to balance. He does have a very nice placement to his saddle directly behind the shoulder. Transitions really well into his undercut. He could be a little bit more rounded into those cheeks. He just tends to get a little bit squared as he approaches the whisker bed. He does have a very nice length and evenness to his stops. He is unfinished in his coat, but he's got a very lustrous coat. It usually means they're very well conditioned. Number 2 is going to be a BPTR. It's a nice and tight rabbit. Good length to his body, very nice width and depth to balance. He could be a little bit straighter and even in that saddle marking. Does have good placement to it though, nice and clean in that undercut. He's just a little bit more narrow in that glaze marking on his head. He does have good roundness to his cheeks. Pretty good length to his stops. His left stop's just a little bit off bias, a little bit dirty, so he could just be a little bit cleaner. So our first place is going to be a BPDA. It's a nice tidy rabbit, very nice length to his body, very nice width, good depth over that hip to balance, good placement into that saddle, transitions really well into a nice even undercut. He's got very nice evenness to his cheeks as well. The right one is just a little bit squared, but the left one's got nice roundness to it. Very nice length and evenness to his stops. He actually has probably the best finished coat in the class as well. So he is our first place black senior buck. Okay, and then we only have one blue senior buck, so he's going to be first place for his class of blue senior bucks. His tattoo is J25BP. It's a nice and tight rabbit as well. Nice length to his body, very nice width and depth to balance. He's got a good placement to his saddle, right behind the shoulders. Transitions really well into a nice, even, clean undercut. He could be just a little bit cleaner in his cheek markings as he approaches the whisker bed, and they could be just a little bit more rounded. They do have a tendency to square off just a little bit. He's a little dirty in those socks as well. They can be a little bit cleaner, but nice length and evenness to them. Very nice blue color. So he is first place for our blue senior bucks. Okay, and then we only have one chocolate senior buck as well. His tattoo is NS3. He's also going to be first for his class. He's very nicely typed. He's got such a well-balanced body type. He's short, compact. He's got very nice width and depth of balance. He's got a nice muscling and firmness in his flesh condition as well. Good placement to that saddle. Nice clean undercut on him. He's got very nice roundness and evenness into his cheeks. He's got a good blaze. He does get a little bit narrow towards the tip, and he could be just a little cleaner around that neck, but he's got very nice length and evenness to his stops. Just a little opening. I'm finishing his coat today. So he will be first place for our chocolate senior bucks. Start placing our Dutch senior does. I'm going to start with the blacks. There are two of them, so this one is going to be second. Her tattoo is Fox, F-O-X. She has a good length to her body. She's got great width of body, really nice width through that shoulder, very nice width into her midsection. She just lacks a little bit of depth over that hip to balance with the amount of width that she carries, so she just tends to be a little bit flatter in body type. However, she's got a beautiful saddle marking. Very nicely placed, it's nice and clean and even, transitions really well into that undercut. She is just a little bit higher on her right cheek, just looking for a little bit more balance in those cheek markings, but she does have very nice length and evenness to her stops. She's a little bit open and I'm finishing her coat today. So first is going to be a C5RWD1 or CSRWD1. Very nicely typed though. She has a very nice length to her body. She definitely has that depth that I was looking for. It's a very appropriate top line for her high point to fall directly over the center of her hips. She's also got a good placement into that saddle. Transitions well into the undercut. She's a little bit more balanced in those cheek markings. They have good roundness to them, but she's still just a little bit higher on her right cheek. Good length and evenness to her socks though, and actually really good condition to her coat as well. She's got a good finish to it, it's very lustrous. So she will be our first place black senior doe. Okay, we only have one blue senior doe, so she will be first, P-P-E-P. She's just a little bit longer in body type, just in through that shoulder and midsection. She's got tons of width of body, but she could use a little bit more depth over that hip to balance with the width that she carries. I'd also like her saddle marking to be a little bit further back. It should be directly behind the shoulders, so it's a little bit further forward. She's transitioned well into a nice clean undercut though. She's got good evenness into her cheeks. They're just a little bit higher in both of them, so it makes her blaze a little bit wider. She also has a good length and evenness to her socks. She is very open and unfinished.